comes into the game tonight. Just about set to tip off here at Yum Center. Louisville 6-12, 1-6 in the ACC. Blue Devils 13-4, 4-2 in conference play. 2 games in the losses column behind Red Hot North Carolina, which won again last night. Roger Ayers, along with Ramey Stallions and Joe Lindsay, our officiating crew. Roger tosses it into the air, and the Blue Devils, with their freshman guards and Mitchell back in the lineup, along with Jeremy Roach, Filipowski inside there, and there is Mitchell making his presence felt almost immediately.
Something we heard a lot about Louisville was just being solid. That wasn't a solid start. Solid is at least make the offense work, take rhythm out of the game on the offensive end with simple defense. Zone just not doing the job.
Starting lineup you just saw for Louisville, the 8th different one they've used this season as Curtis Williams makes his first start. And Brandon Huntley-Hatfield gets the first bucket to even the game at 2.
And Duke's done a good job of just pushing tempo, getting into things quickly, not allowing defenses to get set. That's going to be a great challenge for Louisville tonight.
Filipowski is an excellent passer. Got it to McCain for an open look, but he could knock it down. And it'll be a jump ball, and possession will go to Louisville. There is Kenny Payne, in second season at his alma mater. Is 3-24 in conference play. He inherited a very difficult situation, obviously far different from the one that John Shire inherited at Duke. Kenny trying to find something to build on, trying to build some hope and bring some young players along. A couple of transfers to augment the process. And there's his best player, Mike James, with the ball. And Kenny telling us before the game, if I had 5 or 6 Mike James, wouldn't even really care about the positions. We would just go, letting fly from the corner. And there's a 3-ball from Curtis Williams, the freshman from Greater Detroit area.
I think something you look for, too, is house money body language. And Louisville kind of has that to start, giving up some easy opportunities early, but offensively, playing with confidence.
Trey White bumping Roach along the baseline as White's first foul. There is John Shire. Under Shire, you see how well they've played at Cameron Indoor. That one loss coming last time out against Pittsburgh, but under 500 on the road. And there is Mitchell, and Mitchell has both Duke baskets.
They've been simple breakdowns defensively, too. And when you're making shots on the offensive end, you ask your guys be solid, see man, see ball, simple fundamentals, communicate. And that's been one of the challenges for Kenny Payne, getting these guys to talk and get connected together on both sides of the floor.
Shot clock getting down toward 5. There's Huntley-Hatfield working through a couple of Blue Devils, and a look for Clark from the corner, and another 3-ball, and this is not a good 3-point shooting team, but Louisville's hit a couple early.
Well, some might say that's why they're open, Reese. I mean, that's scouting report, so you're going to protect inside, you're going to show help, but that kick out, it's worked well for Louisville so far.
And Filipowski shuffled his feet, and it's a Duke turnover, and the Blue Devils have gone off to a slow start against Pittsburgh. Doing so again, there's Clark, who shoots 33% from 3, but as a team, that hasn't been a strong point for this Louisville offense, but confidence early really important for Kenny Payne's team.
But also, you have to be ginger with how you discuss them. That's going to be steal in the backcourt.
Yeah. You see, Louisville has shot it better from the perimeter of late.
Well, part of the thing is you're going to tell your guys you're going to get these looks, so you've got to shoot it with confidence. And that's a confident stroke. I don't care if he missed it.
Good time to shoot a 3 in transition. The freshman Williams, who was a runner-up for Mr. Basketball in the state of Michigan after playing at Brother Rice.
Where were you at 99 to whenever I stopped playing to say that's a good time to shoot a 3 in transition? How many times I got taken out of the game for doing that?
You would have loved playing for me, John, because I'm all about letting that thing fly. Here's Filipowski on the business end, and a great look from Roach.
Yeah, that 2-man game, actually, they have multiple players. Tyrese Proctor got much better at it, but I think Jeremy Roach is one of the best in the country at playing that ball screen offense. He makes good decisions, has good instincts.
Steal by McCain. Caleb Foster goes strong, and it won't go. Clark comes away with it for Louisville, and here come the Cardinals. And it'll be a block inside as McCain is called for the foul.
I mean, this action's really difficult to defend, and this is the connectedness you're looking for, communication. You have to have communication on the ball, yes, but backside needs to see the action, read the action, take that. I mean, that's just too stinking easy. Nothing on that side of the floor, nobody over. Those are the things that hurt you more than you know. When offense comes easy for Duke, they play with a different level of confidence. They get into actions quicker. That means you're going to have to defend even more actions in the half court, and that wears you down.
You know, we mentioned over the course of the season, Louisville hasn't shot a lot of threes, haven't shot it particularly well. One thing they have done exceptionally well is get to the free throw line, as Williams makes 1 of 2.
Are you close to saying they make a lot of them too? So
they shoot it well.
Yes.
They get to the line and they shoot it well.
You shouldn't want to say it and jinx them like you did. It's okay.
So we're already starting with that. You're believing in the announcer jinx. How about the lack of an announcer jinx with Mitchell coming back into the lineup after missing a couple of games with a knee, and he's got a half dozen already.
Well, the reality is they like the matchup, whether it's Mitchell or Filipowski. They like the matchup they're going to get.
And Williams left that one quite a bit short. So first media timeout, and Louisville off to a solid start. They take a 1-point lead as the coaching changes, going from Rick Pitino the year with David Padgett, Chris Mack, and now Kenny Payne. And over the last 4 seasons, Louisville has struggled, and the 2 under Payne, he is 10 and 40. It's caused a great deal of consternation in the city among their alums. What's the future? How long can they stick with him? They're looking for hope and progress. Josh Hurd, the athletic director, has, talked about trying to stack up some positive moments. Not going to make a decision based on one game, win or lose, which is a wise way to look at it, as the Blue Devils get a 3-ball from Jared McCain to take the lead. But the way college basketball is now, you have to show some progress. You have to show it pretty quickly so that you don't sort of fall into the malaise of feeling like you're not going to be able to turn it around.
Yeah, and a place without the history, meaning a place that isn't Louisville, a place that isn't UCLA, as Skyy Clark gets another one. It's easier to define what progress really is. Here, progress is wins.
Yep.
That's the hardest thing. Progress is outcome.
Tyrese Proctor back into the game for the first time tonight. Didn't start, and he has an assist immediately, finding Filipowski's second dunk for Kyle tonight.
Yeah, and I'm saying this, and you and I talked about this. I played at UCLA 2 of the worst years of school history, so there's a lot of context behind it that I understand the challenges of building culture, building a program, when the reality is not what your history tells you it is.
Huntley-Hatfield is called for the travel, and here's Kenny's record. He knows it's not good. He wants to win as badly as anyone. I mean, this guy
hadn't lost in his life.
He's part of a national championship team here. He was part of winning teams at Kentucky, certainly, and at Oregon as well. Has a great love for this place. That is a really important thing. Proctor on the floor. He's been aggressive twice. He has an assist and a bucket. They need him to play at that level if this team is going to reach his potential.
He's got to be calculated, but he has to be aggressive, right? He has to consider the weapons and use the space that he has.
Huntley-Hatfield can't finish off a really good feed from Clark.
I'm telling you, have Proctor and Jeremy Roach. It's just too easy.
What a pass from Filipowski, who's an excellent passer for a big man, and Payne has been positive, but he is not pleased. A lot of easy buckets for the Blues. Filipowski finds Mitchell. That's 4 dunks already for Duke.
Yeah, and that was one heck of a look away. I mean, his eyes took 2 defenders to the right, and it just opened up the paint. He makes great decisions. He's got poise with the basketball, and that's just what makes him such a tough matchup.
Mike James looking to Williams. Here's Trey White, transfer from USC. Pull up and the bucket.
And Trey White's been really good since coming back from injury. He's been consistent, but again, going back to, you can get production as an individual, but until the team starts to find it, this might be another, till the team starts to have the discipline that you need to be solid, which is what Ken Payne talked about. You wanted to be solid defensively. You didn't need to set any records, didn't need to go crazy, don't need a million forced turnovers, just be solid. Well, that's been the biggest challenge because the initial action for Duke to start this game has worked.
The second foul on Trey White. The man who was fouled is the freshman Sean Stewart from Windermere, Florida. Bouncy guy. Shire told us this morning that they want to get him more involved, and he was going to see some time tonight. good
Kinda
cut,
like a
takes
KJ.
it to the free throw line early. He's not a great free throw shooter. Hasn't had a lot of opportunities yet.
It's kind of like a KJ Adams, right? Undersized, kind of plays like a big slasher, physical, strong.
You know, he broke Zion Williamson's program record for standing vertical leap.
That's pretty impressive. It's not like beating yours or mine, right?
No, it's not, John.
Beat Reese's
John,
28 inches.
John, I would say that's a firm grasp on the obvious, my friend.
I was like a good athlete in high school. Then I realized everybody was like that.
McCain just picked up his second foul, and Jared, who last 9 games has just played outstanding basketball, averaging 16 points per game, shooting 50% from the floor.
Well, you don't really become a good shooter until you seek it out. I mean, that's just the reality. Like, you can be a good shooter by making some shots, but there's something different when you seek it out with confidence. It changes the defense. It opens up opportunities for teammates. Even as a decoy, you're creating opportunities.
Tyler Johnson, who's into the game for Louisville, had the ball go off of him. Freshman guard from Brooklyn. Huntley-Hatfield trying to deal with Filipowski, who just bullies his way to the rim, but it rolls off, and Louisville has it, down by 5. Here's Johnson, who's a crafty passer, good creator for his teammates. Huntley-Hatfield can't get it to go, nothing but blue jerseys around.
And Duke has had success here in the half court, just running their stuff. You know, if it's not the first option, they progress through it, and then that's how you build the continuity with the personnel on the floor.
Louisville showing him a little zone. Luke shoots over the top. There's Stewart with an offensive rebound. Fresh 20 for the Blue Devils. Proctor getting a piece of the paint, and Tyrese Proctor has showed up to play tonight.
Well, he's also showing a maturity and a poise, and it's something that you can't say enough about, because maturity and poise help you maximize other guys on the floor, which just makes the game that much easier for you.
John, I love to watch him play. I thought he just really, reclassified, came in early last year, really young guy, really got it as the season went along, to deal with some injuries early this year, but he just has a world of talent. That one's a little bit long. How about Roach flying through there? Knee appears to be just fine. Skyy for that offensive rebound. And Louisville can't afford to give up that many second shots as Roach gets in there, can't get it to go. Stewart fighting Huntley-Hatfield. Brandon pulls it away, and here come the Cardinals. Skyy Clark has been off to a good start tonight. Good offensive follow. Huntley-Hatfield with the bucket.
If you're able to turn the corner and at least get that secondary defender to engage, just get it on the rim. Give your offensive rebounders a chance to get something back in.
Skyy Clark sporting a new do tonight.
It's a different look.
It's worked well for him. He'll continue on if he keeps his pace up. He's already hit a couple of threes. And a good pass. And the foul was called on the freshman Tyler Johnson. His first. We go to the under 12 with the Blue Devils up 5. At the end, that can't happen. That's on us. And what happened was Duke got in the hole. They fell behind 9-0. Henson hit some shots, got going early, and they really couldn't handle him from that point forward. I asked John at the end of the shoot-around today, is that as angry and as disappointed as you've been as a head coach? And he said, yeah. And the reason was not just because they lost and not because Henson had some fun after the game, but he said he felt like that was the type of situation that he wanted the team, the program as a whole, to be mature enough to handle, that it was a game that needed to be won with maturity, and they didn't always show that. Now, they were missing Mitchell and Roach, and that was tough. But as the foul was called here, I think on Ryan Young, who's into the game, picked up the foul. But that was what was disappointing to him, and he wanted that discipline and maturity to be evident tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting how games start seem to matter more now than ever, because you are trying to build continuity and you want to control or dictate how the game's played. The game was played the way Pitt likes to play, up and down, and Duke was chasing throughout. So what you want to see is the maturity from players who can stop the momentum, limit the rhythm, be disruptive by controlling the way the game's played. Duke was never able to figure that out.
Mike James turned it over. Number 23, Zan Payne, the son of Kenny Payne, is into the game. Got his first start over the weekend against Wake Forest. Played 17 minutes. Young got trapped along the baseline. Now Duke swings it to Mitchell. Louisville much more active on defense than they have been early. Proctor has a look from three, and he buries it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Duke can move the ball so well because they have so many weapons. And when you skip past, you get long closeouts, attack that closeout, somebody's going to be wide open.
Here's Payne from the corner, and hit the rim twice and wouldn't go.
And how often when you see a team, somebody gets doubled, if you can pass out of that double, you have the advantage in the offense. Now the defense is scrambling and chasing. And college teams don't typically scramble as well as the pros do.
Ryan Young just working on the smaller Caleb Glenn, who made it difficult for Ryan and forced the miss. 8-point game as we hit the 10-minute mark. Payne, extra pass. Now Zan's got another look and thinks better of it. Crowd wanted him to let it fly. And along the baseline, Tyler Johnson, the freshman, scoring. And off the inbounds, Louisville forces the turnover. Payne's on the floor, and he calls the timeout. That's the kind of energy that this Yum Center crowd, some coming to their feet now, and what's been a difficult 2 years for Louisville, but that's the kind of energy and effort they want to see, and they're still in it, down by 6.
You and auto owners help make it possible. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Excuse me?
Third best thing. Auto Owners offers discounts for life, home, car, and business insurance because the more you protect, the more you should save. That's simple human sense.
Who says you can't go for bold without going broke? Get the brands you want, the prices you want, whenever you want. TJ Maxx, where you can always afford to be you to the max.
Louisville fighting, scratching, clawing is what you want to see, because you mentioned in one of the breaks that it feels like the Blue Devils have a much bigger lead. That's a lazy inbounds pass, and Zampay made him pay for it.
Look, these are the type of plays when you want to rally a fan base. There's still a good crowd here. Everyone talks like the sky's falling here, but it's a good crowd here, and you do have to show progress, but you also have to show consideration for the game, and playing your tail off is a big piece of that. No, I still think he should have shot that three.
So do I. Skyy Clark working on Proctor. Working the screen from Glenn. Clark! Oh, did everything but go in.
I mean, between Mitchell and Filipowski, I don't know how he got it off.
Filipowski misses. Jalen Blakes is into the game, trying to bat it off the backboard and got a foul for his trouble. It's his first.
So you're talking about maturity and what you want to see from Duke if you're John Shire. Get into your stuff. Get into your action, right? Don't get complacent, because complacency is how you get beat. And it doesn't matter who it is. If you think you can't lose to Louisville, if you don't have your head on straight, you can. They have had all the success in the world when they got into two-man action. They've had all the success in the world against the half-court zone. Just be patient, mature.
And Tyler Johnson sort of got muscled and stepped on the baseline. It'll be a turnover for the Cardinals.
I also like when teams with so many weapons explore 5 or 6 different actions, or maybe 4 different counters for one action. Explore things and develop some continuity that way.
Proctor again. Tyrese Proctor off to a terrific start. And he has come off the bench, and he has 9.
Sometimes the answer is simple. See man, see ball. Just lost sight of your man, and Proctor gets an open 3.
Huntley-Hatfield tries to give Clark the screen. Proctor and Filipowski both knocked it loose. Johnson collects it, but now the Blue Devils have it, and Johnson will make matters worse by getting called for the foul. That's his second.
You know, the more you watch basketball, and I don't care any level, but it is certainly kind of trickling down to the college level. It's more about read and react. It's more about instincts than anything else. A lot of the sets you see get you into a situation where you're going to have to read and react, right? You make a play. This is how they cover it. Here's your counter. Make the adjustment and play. That's something I think Duke could do very well.
But Proctor found his man in the corner, and Roach knocked it down. This Blue Devil team among the best in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio. Not great in that category Saturday. Exceptional so far tonight. 9 assists, only 3 turnovers. Clark misses. Filipowski got shoved in the back. No call, and Huntley-Hatfield's there to put it back.
Duke can be good in that department because of the space they have, particularly when you have a good passer like Kyle Filipowski around the perimeter.
Clark got to Roach that time, kept him from shooting. They can't keep Proctor from going. That was no good. But Filipowski would chase it down.
I think skip passes and flare screens are some of the tougher things to cover in the game today, the way you're trying to take away the 3 and take away the paint.
Filipowski particularly strong in this.
Yes.
Like that.
Skips.
Proctor in the lane. He'll go to the free throw line. Foul is called on Caleb Glenn, the freshman from right here in Louisville. How about Tyrese Proctor making his presence felt?
Well, they've created a good rhythm on the offensive end with their ball movement and their trust in one another. When they play this way, this is where you start to see the real potential of this Duke team. Just has to be mirrored on the other end. Used but undersold the word continuity. Getting Mark Mitchell back is just another weapon. It's balance, it's depth. But again, continuity. You want to understand how to play with one another, understand each other's skill sets and abilities. And when you can start to play off one another, actually not play off of, but play for one another, that's where you start to see the potential come together. And I think so far today, if they can put together the weapons they have on offense with toughness on the defensive end, this is a Final Four caliber team.
Mitchell, after missing time with knee injury. Proctor coming off the bench tonight. Duke shooting 52% of the team, largely thanks to those 2 guys, as Proctor is our first man into double figures tonight.
Proctor has a look. His face tells me there's something there. There's confidence, there's conviction, which means he doesn't sweat coming off the bench. He's going to play his thing, play his game, do his thing either way.
Product of the NBA Global Academy in Australia. Jalen Blake's working on Mike James. James gets the better of it, and the foul is going to be on Blake. More men's basketball coming up next right here on the ACC Network. Go to Blacksburg, the house Seth Greenberg built. Boston College and Virginia Tech. Hokie High. They've lost just 1 time home this season. That is coming up as soon as we are finished here in the Ville.
Does he make you say that every time you do a Virginia Tech read?
I just do it out of the goodness of my heart.
Yep. Or one less thing you have to hear about on Saturday.
We'll be at Arkansas, by the way, for Kentucky and Arkansas.
Are you inviting me? Is that what?
If you'd like to come,
sure.
Always welcome.
Pay your own
area. Jeremy Roach knocks down the 3, and Roach has come back and picture form his second as their largest lead of the game at 14 points.
I love when they get to that 2-man game with Filipowski and Roach and just clear the side. You're going to score with either one of them.
James maybe rushed that shot a little bit. Air ball goes out of bounds, and Duke can build on its lead.
I mean, if you have this kind of space, I mean, what are you going to do? The other thing that's coming is a skip to the corner. So you've got skip to the corner. You got a matchup you like with Kyle Filipowski, and that's the idea, is create actions that give you options. And just know what those options are and be instinctual enough to get to them quickly.
There's another skip. Foster's back into the game. You know, it was about this point a little bit earlier in the first half against Wake Forest Saturday that Wake went on a 3-point shooting barrage. Louisville was in the game at the moment and sort of wilted under an avalanche of threes. Duke has done it with dunks and by complement of threes. They're up by 16 now. Here's Williams. Hit one early and can't get it to go, and here comes Roach. And Jeremy will go to the free throw line. He's grabbing at that ankle. Foul is on Mike James. It's his first.
The other thing is you can't say enough about making baskets early. When you make baskets early, you get your defense set. You rarely get beat in transition, but rebounds and runouts, it's a whole other challenge for a defense that's still trying to figure things out. They're still trying to figure one another out. let alone how to win.
You know, something interesting is Skyy was talking today about handling the, ebbs and flows of a season with maturity.
Yep.
And this game tonight, after you were kind of frustrated as a team with the loss to Pittsburgh on Saturday, he was talking to the team about, you don't have to come out and expect that you're going to blitz them, 14-0 out of the gate. Just play the segments, play the possessions, and play discipline, and let the league grow as you play to your standard. And that's sort of how the first half has played out. Right
it has. They have been patient about it. If you continue, it's like body blows in boxing, right? Body blows to me on the basketball floor are long skips and long closeouts. If you can force long closeout, that to me is a body blow where you're going to wear down an opponent who's constantly chasing the play, who never really has the advantage on the defensive end and is playing a constant scramble. That's your most vulnerable point as a defense. So if you think about those body blows, Duke's been able to do that to start the game. They've been consistent with it, and now they're starting to expand upon it.
They're taking Jeremy Roach back toward the locker room. Mentioned he grabbed that ankle after that last foul. And we're going to go have a look at it. We're getting late in the first half. Foul was called on Jared McCain. That's his third. Here's the Roach drive. He's had a knee problem that has kept him out. This time, at least what he grabbed was his ankle.
So his right ankle landed on the foot on the way down.
And hopefully they're just going back to retape that. White fires from the corner. It's no good. Stewart back into the game.
That was really
can push the lead to 20.
That was a really underestimated contain and contest from Kyle Filipowski in space. If he could do that defensively without fouling, that's remarkable.
Another skip pass and the extra one. Finds McCain in the corner. He couldn't get it to go. And now James on the run. Takes Proctor to the bucket. And Stewart blocks it with that vertical leap. But it's a goaltend.
I don't know about you. I'd probably do it just to let you know that I could.
There's value
something
in
about
that.
It's like when a guy shoots a shot after the whistle and they just swipe it off the backboard from above the square. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. That still impresses me or intimidates me. Either one, both.
Danilo Jovanovic is into the game, number 13 for Louisville. McCain has his pocket picked by Johnson from behind. James almost stepped out of bounds on the sideline. There's a strong move from the freshman Johnson.
Capitalize on numbers. If you get to the paint, watch what the defense does. If you have the poise to get the ball to the paint, keep your head up, good things are going to happen. I never had that poise with the ball, to be honest.
You've seen Louisville fight back from big deficits. They did it in Chapel Hill a couple of weeks ago. Got down big, got back within 5 in the second half before the Tar Heels pulled away. And Filipowski can't find the range. And Louisville trying to go on a mini run here. James lines up a three, and there it is. A quick 7-0 spurt from the Cardinals.
John Shire takes the timeout. There are corrective issues that you need to address on the defensive end, and it can't be that if you don't score on one end, you fall apart defensively. Good job for Louisville. Been fighting on the defensive end, attacking off the bounce, playing with confidence. I said, house money, you've got to play with that conviction. So far, Louisville fighting to stay in this game.
Good to see Jeremy Roach has returned to the Duke huddle. Tyrese Proctor and Roach have combined to score the last 17 points for the Blue Devils. The only thing that's gone wrong for Proctor tonight is the most recent foul was changed and given to him rather than Jared McCain, and even that worked out. Would have been McCain's third and only the first for Proctor, but those two guys have played exceptional basketball, and you see the leadership from the sophomore from Australia talking to youngster Sean Stewart, who's played well early on. But you mentioned, John, maybe a little complacency after Duke built that 18-point lead. Maybe it was a little easy for a while, and Louisville, to its credit, answered with a 7-0 run.
They've gotten good shots, but they haven't had good rhythm in those shots, almost as if the open looks came too easy. They got to move it a little bit, create a good rhythm, and start to build something again here to close out the first half.
And there's Mitchell Strong, and one.
They basically went blocker right there. They had two guys on the block. Throw it inside the one. You got the advantage on both blocks. And just go to work. No help. Really no dig down. That's just going to be too easy for Mark Mitchell.
Danilo Jovanovic, the Miami transfer. Final Four team last year. Transferred to Louisville this year. Didn't play, took the red shirt last year at Miami, continuing his career here. Overpowered by Mitchell, and the lead's back to 14.
When was the last time you said that? Took the red shirt.
Yeah.
Fought the NCAA and got eligibility. That's what they did.
Huntley-Hatfield. I think Filipowski caught one in the kisser. Huntley-Hatfield now with 8.
Well, this is what I want to see what Duke does. I mean, where do you get to what you like? That's a good shot. Hard to say no to that. I just feel they can get whatever they want. I really do. I feel like their actions are tough to defend the way they're being defended. Slip screens have been there. Good passing, long closeouts. But if Kyle Filipowski's going to pick a pop and hit open shots like that, good luck.
I think he was a little annoyed about that last defensive trip. Filipowski, the 3, the rebound, and 7-footer will bring it into the front court himself. Surprised Mitchell a little. There is a what?
A skip pass.
Proctor couldn't get it to go. How about Filipowski now? Saves it to Mitchell. Strong to the basket, and Mark will go to the free throw line.
There's a reason in our meeting with Kenny Fantasy concerned about skip pass. You just see it. And part of it is it's their ability and their discipline and spacing. If you maintain spacing, any sort of ball action towards help defenders is going to suck them in. That long skip leads to a long closeout, which is your immediate advantage.
John, that foul was on Tyler Johnson. That's his 3rd. He'll go to the bench. Skyy Clark returns. Curtis Williams, the freshman who got his first start tonight for the Cardinals, also returns.
It's hard to avoid fouling if you're chasing the play defensively. You're a step behind, you're chasing, you're out of position, and it's often secondary defenders that pick them up.
And what a return for Mark Mitchell tonight. Double figures in the first half already as Duke has a 16-point lead. Mitchell has a dozen. Proctor almost gets a steal. Louisville will maintain possession, 16 on the shot clock.
Those are things you look to build on too defensively, just fighting through screens. Right? Just having a sense of urgency defensively to avoid getting screened and take yourself out of the play. Proctor fights through it, gets a hand in the passing lane.
Mitchell and Roach, who missed that loss to Pittsburgh, have combined for 22 points in the first half. Skyy Clark finds a little room. Clark now has 8. Caleb Foster, pretty quiet first half, gets his own miss. Now Roach lines up a long one. That's no good.
He's grimacing a bit.
Clark finds a little room. Huntley-Hatfield knocks down the mid-range jumper.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, Jeremy Roach is definitely grimacing a bit on that ankle. Likely got retaped. He's back in the game. But Skyy Clark didn't waste any time and just attacked him. That's what you've got to do.
Huntley-Hatfield's really playing his best ball. Highly regarded recruit. Started his career at Tennessee. Slowed by an injury last year. Been coming into his own over his last 9 games, averaging over 14 points and about 8 boards, and he's on track for that tonight. Proctor working on Trey White. Ill-advised pass. Here comes Skyy Clark, who kind of stumbled in there, and I think he's going to get bailed out with a foul being called on Jeremy Roach. Yeah, Proctor just got in trouble down there and was looking for help anywhere he could find it. Clark misses the front end of the 1-and-1, a 78% free throw shooter, and we're headed toward the last half minute of the first half. First half controlled by the Blue Devils, but Louisville not out of it. They've continued to fight back, showing some grit, down by a dozen. See if they can get a stop here. Filipowski misses off the front of the rim, and Kyle's had a little bit of an up and down shooting night, and Louisville can get the last shot. Filipowski switches, Clark goes by him, and Skyy will go to the free throw line with 3 seconds remaining in the first half. Mark Mitchell called for the foul. That's his first. Sky's missed a couple now. We've got a great women's basketball double dip for you Thursday night here on the ACC Network. Starts at 6 Eastern. Florida State ranked 23rd in the country, taking on Duke. Then at 8, Miami against 20th ranked North Carolina. Both games also available on the ESPN app. Clark finds his customary range. Gets one. It's an 11-point lead as Duke will try to get a shot off. Long pass in. And instead, Clark will heave it from half court, and it's a little bit wide left. A little bit of a sloppy end to this first half, but the Cardinals have scratched and clawed and stayed in it. And Skyy Clark leading McCain, Caleb Foster, Jeremy Roach, Kyle Filipowski, and Mark Mitchell, the same 5 that started for Duke. For Louisville, Trey White, Mike James, Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, who had a very good first half. Curtis Williams out there along with Skyy Clark. Kane misses a scramble, and Roach comes up with it. His first shot of the second half is no good. Huntley-Hatfield had a strong first half, scoring 10 points, gets his 6th rebound of the night. White inside to Huntley-Hatfield. White open for 3.
I'm surprised with Jeremy Roach clearly struggling on that ankle. Why Skyy Clark doesn't try to get him in space and make him defend?
Waiting at the scorer's table right now is Tyrese Proctor. Had a very good first half for Duke. And see if he's going to get Roach, who is certainly favoring that ankle as he comes back on defense. Foul is going to be on Caleb Foster for the push.
I think you're right.
And Proctor in, Roach out. Roach obviously frustrated. Well, he was really playing well. Jeremy, captain, 4-year starter for the Blue Devils, will go to the bench. Clark finds wide open. Right again from the corner. This time he's got it. Trey White.
There's something about that inside-out action where you're stepping into the shot, your shoulders are squared, it becomes a higher percentage shot. I also think there's better rhythm in that shot.
Only White's 2nd field goal of the night, came in averaging 13.5 points per game. Filipowski kicks it off his foot, but I think he got pushed. Foul's going to be called on Brandon Huntley-Hatfield.
It's just good stuff. I mean, that kick out, kind of like a skip pass. You're square. You're stepping into it, which means you see the basket and the ball coming. It's an in-rhythm shot. It becomes a higher percentage 3.
Louisville's hit 5 of 12 from behind the arc. Showed you a graphic earlier in the game. They've shot it better over the last 4 or 5 games. Of course, in the season, haven't taken or made that many threes, and the percentage not that great. Filipowski wipes away the shot of Curtis Williams, and here comes Kyle leading the break himself. Little Euro, and let's see. Roger Ayers will talk it over with Joe Lindsay, and they'll call the offensive foul.
It's like, no, you make the call. You do it. You do it. I feel like this is a good opportunity. This is where you get these calls nowadays. You're not going to get this if he takes off to shoot the shot, because we did the best thing possible, which was help eliminate the block charge on plays at the rim. You're seeing more athletic plays at the rim, which I love, but you can still earn that. And I'm going to tell you, they're more apt to call that because of what they took away at the rim. Nice.
There's White scoring his second straight bucket. By the way, be remiss if we didn't mention that was a really good defensive play by Mike James to draw that foul. And Louisville has closed to within 6. White's hit a couple of buckets here.
Part to start this second half, it's gone the way of Louisville. Come out, created a good rhythm, been strong on the defensive end, and then offensively, good ball movement, good patience, capitalizing on a Duke team that has really struggled to score the basketball, Reese, over the last 5 minutes.
Well, last point came at the 2:45 mark of the first half. We're at 17:45 now. 5 minutes without a point. Started off hot, made just 8 of their last 26 shots from the floor as Filipowski and Mitchell talk it over. Jeremy Roach started the second half after turning that ankle late in the first half. Wasn't able to go, so now they're without the man who many believe is the best point guard in the country. And their closer, man, look, a lot of time here, but this is an example of what Shire was talking about, showing maturity when a team makes a run at you, and it's the type of thing that Louisville needs to kind of be a cornerstone and a building block, and Mark Mitchell answers as he has pretty much from the opening tap tonight.
Mark Mitchell has that advantage. He slips it, they just throw it right inside. But again, you've got to have something you can build on with or without Jeremy Roach on the floor. And I'm just looking for body language, really strong, tough body language. I'm not sure who that is on the Duke team.
They run the double team. Huntley-Hatfield banged it off the side of the backboard, and look who's open again. It's Clark in the corner, and he can't find it. And the foul is called on Huntley-Hatfield. That's his second. And Jeremy Roach icing that right ankle.
That's frustrating. I can tell you as a player, when you work, and it's not as if he just got better and showed up and started playing today. No, you work, you rehab to get yourself back to a point where you can play at this level, only to turn your ankle in the first half, and here he is on the bench, icing an ankle.
And Filipowski found Mitchell inside, and he was fouled by Skyy Clark. Look at dejection on the face of the Duke captain.
It says a lot. And it's tough because, I mean, he's their leader. He's not the most vocal guy either. I always think that's a challenge. I mean, where does that vocal leadership come from? Yikes.
Aaron McCain off the side of the backboard. Here comes Clark. No call as Proctor hits the deck. Open look from James. How about White skying for the offensive board? Here comes James. Strong move inside. He'll go to the free throw line.
That's where you start to pay attention and say, all right, who's the aggressor? We always say aggressor always wins, but the reality is Louisville's been the aggressor here to start the second half. They found something, they're confident, and they feel as if they've got Duke on their heels, and they've been attacking.
They do a good job getting to the free throw line. They have all season. Now Mike James, who's an excellent free throw shooter at 81%. Little ACC network programming reminder. Thursday night, 10 o'clock Eastern time after our women's basketball doubleheader. Nothing but net. And all the highlights and the coverage of the women's game you can only find in one place right here on the ACC network. Kelsey Riggs, who hosts all the shows.
Yeah. You say she might end up on a few promos tonight, too.
Hard worker, excellent at her craft. And Duke's a little rattled right now. Offensive foul called, and the Blue Devils will have it back.
Kind of typically speaking, when you chase on one end, and here you see Duke kind of setting up in another man. You chase on one end, you force on the other. That's kind of what it's been here to start the second as Louisville just continues to pick them apart.
Just a tremendous look from James to beat that double team, and Huntley-Hatfield puts it in. He's got a dozen. We've got a 5-point game. And this crowd at KFC Yum Center is not a full house, but they're making noise. Filipowski cut off on the baseline. Proctor for 3. And it's over the top of the backboard, and the Cardinals will have it.
Louisville really starting to find it, even on the defensive end. Great rotation, taking the pick and roll away. But again, starting to play for one another. Game's not that easy when you try to do it all on your own. Louisville, good defense, good offense, starting to come together.
2015, and Kenny, of course, by John Calipari's side for a number of years at Kentucky when they won that 2012 title with that great team with Anthony Davis.
Yep. I really wonder after seeing stuff like that, what have I done in my basketball life? I mean, look at the success these guys have had.
As we've mentioned, Kenny Payne under a lot of heat here. They could pull off a game like this, it would go a long way toward alleviating some of it. Shot clock right at the end, and Clark gets the bucket. It's a three-point game.
Duke leveled up a little bit defensively. They were physical, they were communicating, but again, this Louisville team is starting to be the aggressor.
Three ball from the corner won't go, and
that's killer.
Ball is lost out of bounds.
This was good stuff. I mean, good defense from Duke, almost, I should say, but really, Skyy Clark just made a tough shot. And when you allow let's say, perceivably inferior team, safe to say, to be the aggressor, you become extremely vulnerable. Particularly with Jeremy Roach out.
Yeah, and there's some energy in the building now, and there's a belief and an intensity. Caleb Glenn, number 10's into the game, playing some aggressive defense. Here's Proctor. Driving inside is McCain, and the whistle, and there would be a foul called. I believe they're going to get Glenn.
And that's something I thought about in the first half was is Duke really getting to the free throw line enough? Now, part of it was they got great looks from the perimeter, but sometimes that can lead to complacency. You're not really building upon anything. You're not really exploring every option. I think if Duke can get more long closeouts and get to the paint, maybe get to the free throw line, those become those body blows we talked about in the first half.
McCain just soft enough for just his 4th point of the night. Over the last 9, he's been averaging 16 points per game. He's had 20-plus in 4 of his last 9. Takes the moment. Knocks it home. The lead is back to 5. There's Jeremy Roach watching his young backcourt counterparts trying to fight off this game-aggressive Louisville team. Here's Williams. Good look to White. White puts it up. Huntley-Hatfield with a follow. Filipowski tries to quiet the crowd. Proctor will try it, and he's got it.
It's really big when Louisville is starting to climb into this game, climb back into this game, almost as if they've been in control here in the second half. I just think Louisville offensively has been so aggressive, assertive, and actually playing with a little conviction on the offensive end.
Proctor up to 14. Clark gets by it. Finds a man in the corner. It's Williams. He made one of those early in the first half. Filipowski almost falls out of bounds. Proctor has it safely. Blue Devils will get it in the front court.
Skyy Clark doing a good job probing, just getting the ball where he wants it to go.
Clark and Filipowski getting a little physical as Clark giving up some size. Mitchell got hit, no call. Huntley-Hatfield has it, and here come the Cardinals. Huntley-Hatfield goes by Filipowski, and they're going to get Brandon for the offensive foul.
Now they say he stepped out of bounds.
Oh,
yeah.
I beg your pardon?
Yep. I'm glad that's a no call. He did step out of bounds, but I don't know if I'd be claiming that was the block if I was the ball handler. I don't think Filipowski was set.
I think there's no question about that. That is a break for Duke.
Just accepting that perspective has something to do with it, at least.
Yeah. Mitchell, thank you very much.
All right, so Duke got back, got quickly into an action where you've got a little pick and roll, pick and pop situation. 2 go with the basketball, you make the right decisions, but good spacing on the wings, keeping that paint vacated from a defensive standpoint.
Boy, Mitchell has been good. Coming back from missing a couple of games with that knee. Missed only 1 shot tonight. He's got 16 points. And Blue Devils still holding them off. And here's Mitchell.
There, 2 stay with the basketball. Just kind of roll to the basket. Easy stuff. But it just feels like John Shire's got to script a little bit more with this group. You mentioned continuity, but that also means guys learning how to play with instincts, right? See and feel things on the fly. It's not something they've been able to figure out yet.
Mitchell knocked it away. Huntley-Hatfield as Filipowski was guarding him. Mitchell there to help him out. Here's Kyle working inside. Filipowski had a little bit of a tough night shooting the basketball. On his 3 of 9. There's White driving and scoring. Trey White.
Got like-to-like ball screen, and neither Kyle Filipowski or Mark Mitchell communicated whether that's going to be a switch or not. Confusion often leads to an opportunity for the offense.
Skyy Clark defending that roll man, and Proctor goes right down the boulevard. Tyrese Proctor has 16.
He's really smooth with the ball. It feels like he covers a lot of ground with very few bounces, too, so he's efficient with the ball in his hands.
Inside 12 minutes to play. Tyler Johnson, the freshman, back in, number 4 for Louisville. Here's White. Now here's James. Skyy Clark driving again, gives it up to Huntley-Hatfield. Excellent ball movement and penetration from the Cardinals.
You got 3 different guys that put the ball on the deck to do something with it. Defense rotates, they kick it out. Long closeout, Skyy Clark attacks, makes the right decision. Easy dunk.
Filipowski off the pass fake, he misses. Rebound by Mike James. James wants it back, wants to attack in transition. Filipowski there to cut him off for the moment. James driving, whistle, and you're starting to see some frustration from the Duke big man, Kyle Filipowski, as he's called for that foul, his second. The Pitt game on Saturday, came back and played an outstanding first half, but late in that first half, on this drive, while picking up the foul, turned his right ankle, came back into the game, started the second half, but it was obviously not close to full speed. You see it's wrapped now, and the Blue Devils, who with about 5.5 minutes left to go in the first half, had an 18-point lead, has seen Louisville fight and scratch and claw its way back in it. They're within 6 right now in the second half. Cardinals have made 5 of their last 7 shots from the floor, while Duke has struggled mightily, most notably Kyle Filipowski, who has only 3 field goals tonight. Filipowski averaging over 18 points per game.
It's dejecting, not only for Jeremy Roach, but for the rest of the team as well, who sees a guy go through a rehab process with the knee, gets himself back. There's excitement. He and Mark Mitchell coming back, and then the ankle. But at some point, you've got to look at the rest of the guys on the floor and say, who's going to knuckle up? And that's what I just haven't seen yet. Who that's got to be, I'm not sure.
James has 1 of 2 from the 3 free throw lines in a 5-point game. Filipowski using that pivot foot brilliantly, and Kyle Filipowski. That's the way to answer. That's the way an All-American candidate answers.
Well, it's also the way a good coach answers. Coming out of timeout, you need to find something you can build on, but also get Kyle Filipowski in the game. Go to your best player and go let him make a play.
He's just 4 of 12 from the floor tonight, but Duke will need him down the stretch. Strong move inside, and Mike James will go back to the free throw line.
When you're assertive about where you're going to go, I mean, this was obvious. They threw the ball right inside. Now, I thought Kyle Filipowski had a number of jump hooks there, but he got an even easier one. At some point, that's going to lead to a dig down or at least help, and likely a long closeout, that's what they were able to really capitalize on earlier. Long closeouts, or skip passes, long closeouts, and attacking off the bounce.
That was Louisville's 10th free throw attempt of the evening. Made just 5 of them, now 6 out of 11 for a team that is second in the ACC and made free throws, 3rd in free throw attempts. And with Duke now at 16 fouls, it might be an opportunity for Louisville to continue one of his strong suits and drive the basketball. A strong suit for the Blue Devils tonight has been the play of Tyrese Proctor.
Exactly what we said, though. You start to help up, right? On the slip, you've got to help over, skip pass, open look for Duke.
Another drive and another drawn foul as Tyler Johnson will go to the free throw line.
This is there. There it is. Screen, quick roll as two stay with the ball. You've got to help over. Now skip pass over the top because Skyy Filipowski makes good decisions and is a good passer. And Proctor knows it's coming, so he's shot ready. That's a high percentage three. How about on this end, though? Just drive it.
Yeah.
How are we going to win? Drive it.
Drive the
Make them
basketball.
foul you. Move it if you don't have it, but keep driving them.
Johnson shoots better than 80% from the line, makes that one. Filipowski, while hasn't been the highest percentage night from the floor, does have 4 assists. He's a terrific passer for anyone, but particularly a man his size.
Well, he's got a good feel, so he understands where guys should be, too. And the more you play, the easier that part of the game gets. I always say playing with Euros, with 12-year-old kids playing with a 24-second shot clock, they learn the game probably a little bit better, or at least have a better feel for the game because of that. A lot of high school kids don't develop that until you get to college because you finally start playing with shot clocks.
Proctor to the bucket again. Tyrese Proctor scores again. Proctor now with 21 points. What a performance from the young Australian.
I love when they just continue to explore options in the ball screen. You got multiple guys who can slip and roll, other guys getting involved spacing.
Terrific look from Johnson to find Huntley-Hatfield, and he'll go to the foul line. Boy, Johnson just has the feel of a point guard from Brooklyn, doesn't he?
I was just thinking about that, too, because that's like the mindset there. Head down, shoulder into a defender, drive it. Probably your best opportunity offensively, too. And getting beat off the bounce breaks down a lot of your principles defensively.
Huntley-Hatfield makes the first. More hoops coming up next. We'll go to Blacksburg, Boston College, Virginia Tech. 9 o'clock Eastern time. Hokies have been very good at home. Huntley-Hatfield makes 1 of 2. You know, he's just a rebound away from his 5th double-double in his last 10 games. He's really, and he might have already said a bad word, frustrated by missing that last free throw, but the Cardinals still in it. And he's really been playing well of late. Mitchell, huge size advantage on Johnson, and couldn't get it to go, gets it back, and this time Johnson will foul him. There was really no chance for the 6-footer to deal with the 6'9" Mitchell.
Yeah, if I was Johnson, I would have fouled a long time ago. He did go out early in the first half, with 3 fouls, so you want to be a little careful, but that's just a matchup you have to try to avoid.
I believe that foul, John, was given to Clark, though
Yes.
It was certainly Johnson who got caught in that matchup against Mitchell, who makes the first free throw.
Have you noticed Huntley-Hatfield's traps, right? You understand traps on shoulders?
Yes, I'm familiar with the term.
Just make sure you know. All right. There's sometimes.
Who do you think you're dealing with? Has it been that long, John?
Yeah, well, you know, I'm looking whether you're filling that suit out or not.
Yeah, well.
Maybe in the wrong spots.
Wrong spot. This is true.
But his traps are remarkable. I mean, like there are dudes where you look at it and say, wow, like he don't skip leg day. Or he must do a ton of shrugs every day.
9-point lead for Duke. But James thought about it now. He'll go right to the bucket. Sean Stewart got a hand on it, and it's off the Blue Devils, and Louisville will keep it with 18 on the shot clock.
I like that because the mindset is to be aggressive, attack. But if you're just patient enough to let other defenders kind of clear the property there, let your offensive guys space and then attack off the bounce. Covering space is difficult.
James thought he had drawn a foul, showing some frustration now. Needs to get back and play defense as the Blue Devils have a chance to stretch the lead double figures again. And it's an offensive foul on Filipowski as he tried to find the man in the corner. Kyle picks up his 3rd.
If he just shot that, it would have been a block. But on the pass, I mean, I think it's a great play. You're in position. Yeah, that's pretty close. That's one thing. Louisville's defense have been so much better late in the first and then in the second half about getting rotations there sooner. Now, it does mean skip passes are going to be there, but at some point you got to give up something that shouldn't be a layup.
That was Zan Payne back into the game. He's made a couple of hustle plays tonight. Johnson can't quite get it to fall, and he'll go back to the free throw line.
Just right off the bounce. Like, I think one of the hardest things to do in college basketball, while you're looking around, right, you're always worried about a ball screen. Everybody just sets ball screens, especially if offense breaks down. Just covering your man in space is one of the most difficult things. And for Louisville, that might be their best offensive option.
Foul was on Caleb Foster. John, a little surprising. We haven't called his name much tonight. Caleb scoreless. A couple of assists as Johnson makes the first free throw, cuts it back to 8.
Body language can tell you that. There's just something about Duke right now. They know they're not the aggressor, and it feels as if they just want to survive tonight.
Johnson has 8 points for the freshman. Made all 4 of his free throws. Now he's working on Foster. Proctor's had a brilliant night. Turns the corner against Skyy Clark. And there's a whistle. Skyy Clark's going to pick up his 3rd foul.
I don't even care. In a way, I think sometimes fouling in a possession like that is disruptive, right? Duke hasn't had a good rhythm, not since earlier in the first half. And fouls like that, they're just annoying. He had a line to the basket. In a way, it's not a bad foul.
Filipowski's going to get a quick breather as we're the 8:02 mark.
Yep.
Next step ball under 8. We'll go to the media timeout. Give Kyle just a few more seconds here as they ready him for a stretch run here in Louisville. Stretch run not far from Churchill Downs, and Tyrese Proctor, who has 21 points to lead all scorers, just forced Skyy Clark into his 4th foul.
I'm surprised they didn't call a foul on the screen from Stewart. Defender Skyy Clark was right on Proctor's hip, tried to get over, took a little hip and a little chicken wing. And they call that so often. That's why when you see it, it's a surprise they don't call it.
Proctor misses the first free throw. Clark will go to the bench for those 4 fouls. Curtis Williams returns. Proctor has matched, or is about to get to his career high. Proctor missed them both.
That's clear and bounce. Just clear and ball. I mean, this is where they've been at their best.
Shot clock under 10. James finds room.
I'm telling you. Just clear and let him put it on the deck. Go beat your man. Because at some point, if you can't contain the basketball, if you can't win your battle defensively, you become really vulnerable.
These fans wanted to see fight, and they found some of it. Offensive rebound by McCain. Here's Proctor as we head toward the 7-minute mark. Proctor, step back and another bucket. He's got a career high 24 points and the lead's back to 8.
Something about that rhythm dribble, you just know it's going in. Shot that one with confidence.
James almost lost it. Gets it in the corner to White. Good help by Stewart to cut off the drive along the baseline. Williams nearly lost it. Puts it up for 3. And nothing but Duke jerseys underneath.
See, that's the one thing they can't settle for. If you get a kick-out 3 because you ran good action, you beat your man, you created a long closeout, then take the shot. But it can't be massage dribble into tough threes for Louisville to be competitive in this game.
A little bit of a youthful mistake there from Williams, the freshman.
Ooh.
Proctor puts people on the deck and can't get the shot to fall. And it's tipped up and in. Mark Mitchell. And somehow, some way, the lead is back to double figures. Louisville really needs a bucket. Johnson goes all the way, and that's what they've done well tonight. Get to the free throw line. Boy, furious action here. Louisville just keeps fighting back. And when Duke needed it, Tyrese Proctor.
Yeah, that was really big. We could have put 2 really good clips together. Yeah,
to the Yup Center crowd.
Tyrese Proctor's been terrific. Career high in points and threes. And part of it's been the patience, relocating, get to the open spot, getting those shoulder square, feet set, shooting it with confidence, high percentage threes. And when you make a few, you start to feel it a bit. You get that confidence rolling. Then when you get to play off the bounce, it's just fun. He's played with a great rhythm, and truth be told, they've needed him. Jeremy Roach out of the game with the ankle. Kyle Filipowski's had his struggles. And yeah.
He has been sensational. Duke's been waiting on that. Look, he's had to deal with some injuries this year himself. But this is a highly talented dude. We saw him at his best late last season. And this looks a lot like that. But Duke is not out of the woods. The crowd has no reason to be quiet just yet as the freshman Tyler Johnson goes to the free throw line. He makes another one.
I like Tyler Johnson.
I do too.
I like dudes who can get places that you don't want them to be as a defender. He can just get the ball in places. It almost becomes a set. If you can run something to create enough space for him to just beat his guy, you become dangerous.
He's in the double figures with 10. Now can Louisville slow down Proctor and Mark Mitchell, who's back from missing a couple of games, a 20-point night for him. Johnson almost got a hand on it. I think McCain might have gotten away with a little push-off. 5 on the shot clock. Filipowski over the top of White. Kyle gets his own, and White got a hand on it. It's probably a smart foul. Saved a sure dunk. Foul was called on Trey White.
You know, that was just such a good decision. Good feel from Kyle Filipowski. He knew in that situation, the way they had to help over and help up, the next pass should have been the pass for a three. Well, it was Mark Mitchell, and Mark Mitchell dove, and on the dive, he took a defender with him, and then it was an ISO situation for Kyle Filipowski. So good recognition, good feel. So it's a good field play right there.
Filipowski going to the free throw line for the first time tonight.
That's a problem.
And he misses. There's it 2 shots. The crowd wanted the 1-and-1 as Duke is not yet in the double bonus, but the official signaled immediately after the foul that he was going up for the shot. He said it was a 2-shot foul when the foul was called. The crowd believes a mistake was made, and the crowd will now say ball doesn't lie.
Don't lie. All right, Sheed.
So Louisville in the home of Muhammad Ali, rope-a-dope all night. Do they have a fighting finish as Huntley-Hatfield goes to the line and he's fouled. He's got a double-double tonight, 17 and 10. 5th time he's done that in the last 10 games.
I mean, good job. I mean, Filipowski just late on the hedge. He's just there. 2 have to stay with the basketball. Little pocket pass to the roller. And Huntley-Hatfield, just like everybody else for Louisville, they've been aggressive. That's an aggressive, assertive attempt at a finish.
1 of 2 from the free throw line tonight. Now 2 of 3.
Look, I would say there's more fire on the Louisville side than there is on Duke. Fight and survive. That's what I see.
1 of 2 again as Mitchell gets a rebound. Sometimes when you're the favorite, you're supposed to win. You're coming off a game that frustrated Duke, like the Pitt game on Saturday night, and it stays close. You start that mentality. Start trying to avoid disaster. We can't lose to these guys. Louisville, meanwhile, is gaining confidence as time goes on. Shot clock inside 9. Filipowski to work. Filipowski the left hand. And the foul for Kyle Filipowski.
That's a tough ask to cover that in space because he's just so good with his body, creating and absorbing contact, getting it up on the rim and keeping his head up, knowing where the ball's coming off.
Even with the struggle, he's got a double-double, 11 and 13. Johnson, maybe not his strength there.
Now, he's got to be patient to the point where he can get space. In space, that's where he's going to be at his best, and that's also going to want to draw. That's going to be what draws multiple defenders. And then start getting Duke to chase the play a little bit.
Proctor tried to dribble through the double team and is probably bailed out by a fortuitous call, and the foul is on Johnson. That'll be his 4th.
I like to see it in slow-mo.
Kenny Payne might have taken out a little frustration on the scorer's table.
Yeah.
Well, now Johnson, who has created a lot of plays for the Cardinals, can't worry about foul trouble at this point, but he is now playing with 4. Proctor, who's done everything well except shoot free throws tonight. Duke gets another chance as Stewart gets the offensive rebound, and Proctor will settle things down.
Look, I overuse the word rhythm, but the reality is when you create a good rhythm with ball movement on the offensive end, you make a higher percentage of free throws too.
Filipowski against Trey White, gets in the paint, and he's fouled by White. And Kyle will go to the free throw line when we come back for the final 3:52 from Louisville. Cardinals down by 9. 3 lead on Louisville. This has been pretty even in the second half. 3:52 to play here. Reese Davis and John Crispin with you. So, look, let's be candid about this. It's been a rough season for Louisville, a rough 2 years. They've got 1 ACC win. They have played their rear ends off here tonight. To have a chance, give them a finish, maybe win this game. What do they need to do in the last 3:52?
Well, first and foremost, offensively, attack, 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 but be coordinated in that attack. Define the areas that you want to create and opportunities for guys like Johnson and Skyy Clark. Get them in space, get others to clear, maybe play backside blocker, maybe short, for the bigs in terms of Huntley-Hatfield. Clear space, clear the open block, because they've been able to win off the bounce. And then defensively, you've got to think about what you're willing to give up, but you're not going to let Tyrese Proctor, you're not going to let Kyle Filipowski win this basketball game. Talk about what skips you're maybe willing to give up. If Duke makes threes down the stretch, so be it, but you've got to risk something if you're Louisville on the defensive end.
Filipowski just 5 of 15 from the floor tonight. He does have a double-double. He has 13 rebounds, and that's his first made free throw in 3 attempts. So the lead is now 10.
Doesn't feel that way.
It doesn't. The field goal drought that you saw, Louisville has stayed within striking distance largely from the free throw line. They're approaching a 4-minute field goal drought, and man, could they use a bucket right now. Trey White working on Stewart. Huntley-Hatfield's been really good tonight. Goes over Filipowski, and Stewart with those springy legs swatted it out of there, and the Louisville bench insistent it was on the way down. Let's have a look.
Yeah, I'm going to say that was probably on the way down. What do you think?
First angle, I said clean block. That one looked like on the way down.
Well, again, go back to it. You've got to attack. Use Huntley-Hatfield, but if he's just going to occupy the block, it actually hurts you.
Clark uses the window, and the field goal drought's over, and they're back to within 9.
Huntley-Hatfield's been good, but not when he's your primary offensive player. Throwing it into the block, I'm not sure what you get out of that. No defense chases. They all just watch. They get the rebound and run the other way. But off the bounce, that's where Duke's been vulnerable.
The Louisville crowd behind us really giving it to the officials about that last one. McCain from the corner, and a big shot from Jared McCain. He's got 8.
Yeah, and that's what we talk about. What are you going to give up if you're going to put the emphasis on Proctor and Kyle Filipowski?
James Strong to the bucket, and he'll go to the free throw line.
This is a big shot for Duke. I mean, you got to have guys. You're going to have to close out on Kyle Filipowski, but for Huntley-Hatfield to make that that closing from the opposite side of the floor, that's just something that you may have to live with. Nobody likes to accept that, but you can't cover everything. Duke has better personnel. There's no answer for Kyle Filipowski. There's not much of an answer for Tyrese Proctor, so you're going to have to give up something.
That was Filipowski's 5th assist, and he just picked up his 4th foul on this end as Mike James rattles it home.
Now, officials have done a really good job of allowing the wall up, but you've got to get square and go straight up. You get sideways, they're going to call a foul on you.
James hits them both. Back to within 10. Now Louisville's going to show a little pressure in the backcourt.
They've shown this a couple times, but it's really not to be too disruptive. It's just picking up.
Blue Devils will be patient. Kane hands it to Mitchell. That was almost a dangerous pass.
Yep.
Hand off to McCain. Turns the corner. McCain to the bucket.
Wow.
He scores again. He's made a couple of big ones here to hold off the Cardinals as we're headed toward the 2-minute mark.
Making a three is one thing, but off the bounce, that type of finish, that was remarkable.
And the turnover for Louisville. And Proctor is going to slow it down, take it easy, though. McCain was asking for it cross court on the right side. And I think had he gotten it, he would have let it fly.
We haven't gotten to that time and score portion of the development yet.
Filipowski all the way.
That's a tough ask, is it not? Cover Kyle Filipowski 30, 40 feet from the basket with his ball handling skills, but also his ability to pass.
And Louisville feeling a little desperate now. We're inside 90 seconds to play, and Duke's going to come in here and hand the Cardinals, in all likelihood, another double-digit loss. But I tell you what, this is, you've said it several times today as we've been talking, this is a results-oriented place. Louisville's won 3 national championships on the floor. They expect to win. But they can be proud of the effort tonight. And there has been some development, some growth tonight.
Well, I think you also have to accept truth in your reality, which is where this program historically was, what you experienced over a 5-6 year period, and what you're trying to get back. It's not easy. And I said this before. I played at UCLA. I transferred to UCLA because I wanted to play for a national championship. We had 2 of the worst years of school history. There's nobody more frustrated than the guys that put the jersey on and the guys that coach those guys. They give everything that they've got. They want to win more than anybody. But when you're an outcome-oriented university program, it's really hard for people to understand, let alone value a process that builds culture that allows you to win at the historic levels that they've won before. It's so much to it.
And the question that ends up that will have to be asked and answered by all of the Louisville administration, most notably the athletic director, Josh Hurd, are they building in that direction? Is there enough progress that has been shown? Is there enough hope in the program? This is what they have coming up.
Yep.
Many of the games on the ACC network, not the high-profile game like Duke. Certainly there will be a high-profile game at Clemson. Florida State's playing much better. Virginia seems to have found a little something.
Yep.
Syracuse, too. Georgia Tech has a win over Duke.
Yep.
So it's not going to get any easier, particularly when you're about to fall to 1-7 in conference. But one would think that part of that progress and hope and foundation will require some wins.
Yes.
Here.
Yes.
Coming down the gut of the season.
How you get there, that's a great question, because I see things on the floor that I'm saying you can build off of this. But the hard thing is at a place like Louisville where you've won championships, where you expect to compete at the highest level, it's a blue blood program. You get it. Toss all that out the window in transfer portal and NIL. We get that, but you're still a blue blood program, which means the expectations are there. Process and success within the process it's not valued as much.
4.4 on the shot clock. If you're tuning in to see BC and Virginia Tech, they're starting on ESPN app. We'll be taking you to Blacksburg in just about a minute.
And I don't blame fans for wanting what they want. It's part of why the crowd is the way they are when they're good.
Huntley-Hatfield's been really active. Another double-double tonight. Clark. Huntley-Hatfield has it back, and he'll get a chance for a three-point play. He has 20 points, 11 rebounds tonight.
The other thing is, like, getting to do this, we don't just talk to coaches, we talk to human beings. And people always think you have a rooting interest, and the reality is we do. We root for both teams.
Yeah.
Because you see them both as humans, right? You see their vulnerabilities. You see what hurts them. You see how hard they want this. There's nothing Kenny Payne wants more than to succeed here.
This is his school.
That's what I'm saying. there's nothing he wants to do more here than succeed and make everyone happy and get everybody excited about this program and where it could go. So it's hard to see people struggle when particularly as players do. Like, so much of how you define yourself is based on what you do as an athlete. I always say my experience at Penn State was better. Well, why is that? Well, we were better. My basketball experience had more success tied to it. We're defined by what we do on the floor, whether we want to accept that or not. So I feel for the players who are scratching and clawing. Clearly, there's not a day taken off. They're not chilling. They're trying to win. So I feel for them, but at the same time, I do accept the expectations. I accept the demands on programs, particularly when things have become more and more of a business. And that's going to be a challenging shift for a lot of people.
36.1 remaining here tonight. Much needed win for Duke after the loss to Pittsburgh. Blue Devils have a tough game coming up back in Cameron against Clemson on Saturday. And a road game at Virginia Tech before the first showdown with ACC leading North Carolina on February 3rd.
Assume you'll be there?
Has not been announced. Would be stunned if that's not the case.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought it was a safe assumption.
And would object.
Yes.
Strenuously.
The 1 year I got to call that game, it was for radio. No one was in attendance. It's a real kick in the pants COVID year. I was still happy to call the game, but I was like, man, it would have been a lot better if this place was loud. Be interesting to follow the health of Jeremy Roach because it goes back to what we talked about, continuity. Can they build to get to where they need to get really as a program by March?
Skyy Clark misses and Duke can dribble it out. Tyrese Proctor really answered the bell tonight. Proctor with 24 points, 4 assists, and a handful of really big shots when Louisville was challenging. And the Blue Devils are going to go back to Durham with a 83-69 win. And with that, that is a Blue Devil